I saw there was a paragraph where you talk about, for years you blamed yourself. You were trying to figure out, why can't I be happy? What is this? And and you said, then one day I realized it wasn't my fault. As it turns out, everything I'd ever been told was wrong. I'm curious, do you have that? Do you know when that moment was, when there was the switch in your brain and you're like, you had your aha moment?
Yeah, I think it was the first of many and the beginning, maybe perhaps best described as the beginning of the aha process. Like maybe that's a better way to describe it because so much of this has for me been about unlearning and that process that goes along with that versus like learning to unlearn, I guess. And so the first aha moment was, me sobbing on my bedroom floor, having achieved everything that I thought would make me happy, and then realizing it was very much not working. And despite doing my very best to live in denial about that for some time, eventually it just sort of hits you, I think. And that then led me to make a bunch of different choices that took my life in a completely different direction that I never would have imagined otherwise. It was sort of, maybe it's like the doorway that I was able to walk through to then be able to discover some more of these things that I never would have probably considered consciously otherwise.
Right. And when we say, as I was reading, you're the founder of the new happy. So that that indicates that there is an old happy, which I know that you address in your book. So can you, just for the benefit of our listeners, can
Yeah.
you compare and contrast the old happy with the new happy so that we can set the stage, no pun intended, for, what are we talking about here? What is this journey now that if we so choose to embrace the new happy, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's such an important question. So, old happy is a term that I've created to sort of encapsulate a construct and a set of societal beliefs that we've been conditioned into about happiness that I believe are at the sort of the root cause of all of not only our personal suffering, but as I mentioned, our collective suffering as well. And so Old happy is a cultural force that stems from the institutions of individualism, capitalism, and domination. And it teaches us that in order to be happy, we have to conform to the value systems of those forces. And so if you think about how this applies, and I know these are, like big terms that feel very divorced from our normal daily lives, but if you think about it, like think about the last goal you set for yourself and how you worked so hard to get it and you pushed yourself and you burnt yourself out and you neglected your loved ones and you were like, I'm going to get this and I'm going to be happy, damn it. And then you got there and it was like, oh no, like this didn't work. I need to find something else. Okay, that's part of old happy. This idea that we have that I can be happy by myself, like, and this one is very insidious. And we can unpack this more if you want, because it's so much a part of the self help culture and sort of the mental health online discourse that I take umbrage with. But you don't need anybody else. Just protect your peace. Like, abandon everybody in your community. You can just focus on what you want and what matters to you. That's individualism. Domination is where it comes in, not only in the levels of societal institutions and the ways in which certain people are given more access or less access to things, but in the way that that trickles down. For example, we know that happiness is fulfilled by having access to things like healthcare and having parks in your neighborhood and being in safe environments. Well, who gets access to those things? As well as the competitive pressure that we put upon ourselves to conform to this idea of perfection and then use that perfection to judge and demean other people who do not uphold it. And so, all wrapped together, that's old happy. And I believe that it's making us deeply, deeply unhappy.
Here, here. 100% freaking agree with that. The perfectionism is really, everyone has their own thing that resonates with them. And for me, it's the perfectionism. And so, um, so let's talk about then. So that's old happy. And I think hearing you explain those forces, capitalism, individualism, domination, all of those words kind of seem to describe the world in which we are living today. And so to your point, like, if we can unlearn that and figure that out, maybe there is a path forward for even those people who are not so nice in
Yeah.
the
Not
world,
so nice.
leaders.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there hope for anyone is basically my question, but rhetorical. So now let's talk about, I think the paragraph said you went on a 10-year journey
Mhm.
to understand to understand the new happy. So, and you boil it down to two things too, which I freaking love. So can you talk to us a little bit now about, okay, we've established what old happy is. What does new happy look like for those of us who want the new happy?
As you said, it's pretty simple. It's you have to be who you are,
Yeah.
and then you have to use who you are to help other people. That's it.
Okay. People out there listening, Yes. Stephanie, say that again because it's so beautifully
Aw.
simple and elegant and true.
You have to be who you are, and then you have to use who you are to help other people.
Mic drop.